Good afternoon, Isa.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Lots to do.
Yes.
So let's get a shift on.
Okay.
Right. Terminus. Bye-bye, Nissa.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll miss her.
So you've still got no memories at this point?
Not really, no.
these stories?
I think it's because I've seen them so many times afterwards that pinpointing the first time I saw them, I think it was on video. I just think it's because there was obviously something on the other side.
But if I say Terminus, what things come to your into your head? The
Nick-
Garm.
The Garm, Nicker.
Nissa in her knickers.
Her knickers and her flimsies.
Her flimsies.
Yeah, I like the Garm.
All right, why do you like the Garm?
I don't know, because he's like a sort of big dog, isn't he?
Because he's been used in the trailer, wasn't
Yes.
he? And the quote is this necessary?
And he just sounds so fed up. Like, really?
Didn't we say it sort of reminded us of like our cats, that if you pick especially Martha up
Yeah.
and cuddle her,
Yes.
you can almost see her looking at you and thinking, is this necessary?
Yes.
You know? So yeah.
Yes.
But I like the fact that Nissa's doing a bit of biochemistry at the start, because that sort of aspect of her sort of scienciness has been a bit ignored, hasn't it? You've got Davison chucking the chair into the door,
Yes.
which Harry Hill
Yes.
got him to recreate
Yes.
recently, which I
Yes.
thought was very good. I love the fact that like a silly moment from Terminus
Yeah.
inspires Harry Hill all these years later to do something on his own show.
Yeah.
So that's lovely, the way that you can sort of do something in Doctor Who and then years and years later somebody will pick up on it. So it's great. And that first episode again, it's very interesting, the sort of structure of it. 'Cause
Yes.
the idea of the TARDIS sort of breaking down and locking on to the nearest sort of habitable sort of space,
Yes.
whatever it is, whether it be a planet or a spaceship or whatever, is rather nice. And I think it's it shows how far we've gone since something like Planet of the Daleks, with its real clunky use of the TARDIS.
Yes.
The idea that the TARDIS has got sort of mechanisms that, even in an emergency, they it's basically like a big airbag or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's I think that's quite a respectful use of the TARDIS, that it's not just a machine. It's so complex that it's got all these systems to save people through whatever sort of weird medium.
Yes.
And I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember a lot of the plot from sort of watching it on original transmission.
No.
But I do, again, it's one of these ones where I remember the imagery more than anything. So like the skull logo and things like that. And what was it? The big helmets that they've got on the what was it? Lisa Goddard and who's the other chap?
Dominic Guard.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Lisa Goddard's hair is
It's
amazing.
amazingly huge. How the hell they get it in the helmet? I have no idea.
That's real 1983
It's like, woo!
hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's the thing, isn't it? The Doctor Who in the 80s, like with game shows or Top of the Pops, you can really tell when it is based on
how big the hair is.
and stuff like that. Yes, you've got sort of Nissa in her Unmentionables, and yes, that seemed to go down well in the chat room.
I'm
didn't
sure
it?
it did. Yes.
But I think, wasn't it? I think Steve Gallagher has said that the whole point of it was he didn't know that the costume had changed when he wrote it, because when he wrote it, he was basing it on earlier Nissa.
The velvet. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, and I might be wrong, but it was something to do with she had the brooch or something like that. So she undid the brooch because she was hot and dropped the brooch. And then the Doctor later finds the brooch.
Yeah.
So when it comes to actually filming it, the brooch isn't part of the costume. Well, that costume isn't there anymore.
No.
So the only removable thing on the costume is the skirt. So it could have been handled with a bit more thought, but I suppose it's that thing of, we need this to happen for this to happen. So if you haven't got a brooch, what else could she drop?
Yeah.
So, I can sort of understand how that comes about, but I think it wasn't the original intent.
No.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I like the veneer as well.
Oh, right,
Their sort of Viking-esque sort of. Well, it's not Viking. It's actually this sort of Saturn Who mask.
Yes, that's right. Actually,
So it's more Celtic.
Yeah, because Sutton Hoo is the it was like a boat burial or something, and they found the helmet, and that's certainly worth looking up.
And they're all pretty well cast as well.
Yeah, there's some damn good people in it. Yeah.
I must say my favourite is Boar.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah,
Boar.
But Peter Benson. You know, it's his clever, and I thought it'd be better than this.
But again, you see, that's quite an old-fashioned name, isn't it? Yeah. So, the whole thing about the sort of centre of the universe stuff is, it's fairly sort of, I don't like using the word, but sort of hard sci-fi, isn't it? It's that thing you'd expect to see in a sci-fi novel or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's again, as with Kinder and Snake Dance, Steve Gallagher does Warriors of the Deep and Terminus. And
Warriors Gate.
Warriors of the Deep, I do apologise, Stephen. Warriors Gate and Terminus. And I do prefer both of these writers writing slightly weirder stuff.
So you prefer Warriors Gate?
So I prefer Warriors Gate in the same way that I prefer Kinder. But again, these are both very solid stories, aren't they? Yeah. And you cannot knock the structure and stuff like that.
And there's not a lot of the Black Guardian.
Not really, no.
Which is better because it doesn't slow the story down every time you get.
Yeah, I mean you've got Mark Strickson doing his stuff into the cube, because of course that inspired Paul in episodes of Sutton Park. Have you seen any of those?
I don't think I have.
Where Kerry has got this like sort of pencil sharpener, and he keeps sort of talking into it.
All right.
And it's a great shame they couldn't get it to light up in those days. But Mark Strickson always says about how that damn cube always used to burn my fingers.
It got hot, didn't it? 'Cause it had a light bulb.
Well, it was a light bulb and a bloke with some wires and a car battery.
Yeah. You just touch it on the thing, wouldn't you?
And it would get hotter and hotter and hotter.
So the scenes had to be quite quick before his skin started to peel off.
Yeah. But what about Nissa's actual leaving?
Yeah,
how do you think that works?
I think it works really well, because again, in a way, it's like Romana. That she's going off
to do her own thing.
Yeah. So she's not going off to marry anybody or got left behind by accident.
So she's become independent of the Doctor. Yeah.
She's grown.
Yeah.
So to the point where she can be independent and survive. Yeah.
I mean, again, the series itself never returns to her.
No.
But sort of off other media, I guess, sort of pick it up, because is it the Peter Davison Evans book, Asylum? That's the Roger Bacon one. I think that's got Nyssa in it with the Fourth Doctor or something.
Oh, right, okay.
But it's a later Nyssa, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure again, but yeah, because it's interesting. We could have easily returned to Nyssa at some point later down the line. The only other thing I would say is that, and this is a sort of personal thing, the whole thing about the radiation spilling out and sort of covering it with bits of metal and stuff like that. I do remember that. It's the sort of thing that chimed with me, because of course it was all this stuff about sort of nuclear war at the time and radiation. Yeah. And I was starting to learn about radiation in science, because you've got your alpha, your beta, and your gamma radiation. And alpha radiation can be stopped by a sheet of paper, basically, because that's all it is. Whereas gamma radiation, you need a lot of shielding to sort of cover it. So it was quite interesting for me, from a sort of, again, it's that sort of sciencey thing, which we say about season 18, but there's still a bit of it knocking around in the series at this point.
Not so overt.
No, but yeah, it's that thing about the more stuff you put in the way, the more protected you are. So again, that was quite an 80s thing, really, sort of radiation.
Yes, but it was the sort of nuclear war was occupying a lot of people's minds at that point.
Right, anyway. So Enlightenment. And I have to say, of this season 20, it's probably my favourite story.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I do like it. I'm quite fond of Terminus in many ways. Yeah. But Enlightenment is probably a more upbeat story. Yeah. Because good prevails at the end.
I mean, the whole thing about ships in space.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
The model work is what sells it, I think. Because had that model work not been as good, it would have sort of undermined the whole show. Yeah. Because again, this is quite a troubled production.
Yes.
I mean, in the same way that Terminus sort of ran into problems because it had to have a whole remount or something, I think, just to be finished. Enlightenment and later on King's Demons get affected by the strikes again, which is why you lose the final, what would have been the Dalek story at the end. But again, that end of part 1 cliffhanger is very well handled, isn't it? Because we were saying that the actual stuff on board ship is really well pulled off. The whole set design and the atmosphere and the lighting and all of that.
All the panelling. And
when you start to introduce a few of the sci-fi elements, which is like the room that Linda Barron goes in, the design doesn't quite work so well.
No.
And it's the thing that Andrew Cartmel says, that give any sort of designer a period in history to do, and they pull it off immaculately. Give them some sci-fi stuff, and sometimes they just paint everything silver. And there's a little bit of that in Enlightenment, I think. But you've got again some very good actors, but not the original actors that were cast.
No, because Peter Sallis.
It was going to be Peter Sallis, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Can you imagine Peter Sallis doing it the same way that Keith Barron does?
No, he would have done it in his own way. But Keith Barron puts his mark on that part so much that I can't imagine anybody else playing it.
Okay. So. I mean, that's the thing. It was. I don't think anything was actually recorded at all. So it's the thing about who can we get and who's available, because of course Keith Barron is sort of duty free at this point, isn't it? When did duty free run?
I'm not sure. It's
early 80s.
Okay. Not exactly sure.
Because of course Fraser Hines turns up in duty free, doesn't he? Yes. And then you've got Linda Barron.
Yes.
Really sort of doing a full panto performance, isn't it? She gets some wonderful laughter.
But it works. Doesn't it? It works.
Well, that's the thing. The whole sort of concept of the Eternals, you do wonder if they take on a persona, and she's fixated on the sort of pirate captain thing, hasn't she?
Yeah, and she's watched some bad films.
Quite possibly, yeah.
You know.
Lee John. How many E's are in Lee John?
3.
At least 3, aren't
they? 3,
yeah. Lee John is interesting.
Yeah.
It does jar a bit, I think, his performance.
But wasn't it one of his first acting jobs?
I really don't know. So, I suspect so, yes.
You have to cut him a little bit of slack.
Of course, yeah. So. But lovely music as well in this one, you know.
Yes, Malcolm Clarke, isn't it?
Malcolm Clarke in his sort of rollicky, sort of jaunty phase, isn't it? Because there's a load of sort of clings and clangs and things like that as well. But it's on Doctor Who the Music album, and I remember listening to it and sort of, well, not exactly sort of jigging along, but enjoying listening to it sort of as a clean sort of clean track. Tegan gets to change her frock. Yes, and again that seemed to go down well in certain quarters, didn't it?
Yes. Well, there were certain assets on display, shall we say?
Yeah. I mean, the whole stuff with the what is it? The jewel.
The jewel, yeah.
The jewel in a tiara.
Yes. Yeah. Why don't you just throw the tiara over the side?
Yeah.
What on earth makes you think smashing it
is going to help? Yeah. Because it's that thing, as soon as you smash it, you've got no idea how many bits are.
No. And I'm sure they don't pick all the bits up.
No, well, that's the thing. It seems to go everywhere, all over the carpet, doesn't it?
And instead of picking the carpet up and throwing the carpet overboard,
they try and pick up every little bit. Yeah. In a hanky.
Just pick up the bloody carpet.
Yes, again, I'm going to sort of skate over the science involved there, because if you've broken it, and it all becomes an individual thing, how small do you have to break all the bits for them to be? Because if you've got little tiny sort of nanometer sized bits of it, does it still work? Is there a minimum size over which it doesn't work? And if you've shattered it and it's turned into sort of bits of dust as well, you're never going to pick up all the bits of dust. So but and then you've got the sort of whole Black Guardian, White Guardian, Turlo stuff at the end.
Yes. Choice.
And it's the choice, not the diamond.
The light or the dark.
Yeah. But we never see the Black Guardian again.
No.
Oh, indeed, the White Guardian. Well, certainly not on TV Doctor Who.
No, I believe Big Finish has done a bit with Black Guardian.
Okay, I don't. I don't know where sort of when he ever these loose ends are ever picked up.
I believe David Bailey from Robots of Death.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So. But yeah, I mean, as a trilogy, it doesn't hang together quite in the way that the E-Space one does.
No.
But it's still an interesting way to link 3 stories together. Yeah. And you do have at least some resolution of the relationship between Turlough and the Doctor. So but yeah, again, it's probably the story I would rewatch most out of this season, and probably sort of get the most out of on sort of multiple viewings. Anyway, right, let's go and carry on. The King's Demons. Now, we reviewed this.
We did.
On Rayface Shift? On Round the Archives.
Yes.
Rayface Shift? Yeah. It's going back a bit.
It is.
So, yeah, when we did the 80s edition, we did all the Davison two-parters.
Yeah.
And what did we come to the conclusion about?
That we quite enjoyed King's Demons.
I really quite like it. I know people aren't that impressed with it and knock it as being silly. And yes, I know it's the Master again. But it's a damn sight better than Time Flight in my book, I think. It's he's only the Master in episode 2, part 2, sorry. The whole Jules' Strand thing. I mean, he's doing one of his accents again, and I have no idea where it's coming from. But you got Frank Windsor, and anybody from Z-Cars in Doctor Who scores points in my book.
And Isla Blair.
The filming's quite nice at the castle. Have you never been to that one?
Not to Bodiam Castle, no. I think it's a bit too far away.
Okay. No, I've never been either. You've got at least some sort of nice stuff with like the Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Because the Iron Maiden not only pops up in the Blackadder. We also found it's in Here Come the Double Deckers.
Yeah, and it's fairly recently. It was in an episode of Midsummer Murders.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, the same one.
Yes.
Oh, blimey! Because you say it's got a Tudor
It's
ruff.
got a Tudor ruff, yeah.
Yeah. But. Yeah,
and there were no such things as Iron Maidens anyway.
Well, they're a bit of a sort of invention, aren't they?
Yeah.
When it came to sort of torture...
Yeah, they didn't do that.
No. That was far too elaborate, wasn't it?
Just stick them on the rack.
Yeah. Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing about Guy Fawkes had the gentler tortures, isn't it?
Yes.
And you look at his signature before and his signature after. And his signature after
barely sign his
is just a scratch of a couple of lines, isn't it?
Yeah.
But... yeah, it's a nice period to set it in.
I mean, it's a fairly pointless thing because not signing Magna Carta probably wouldn't have affected anything. Yeah, really.
I mean, the DVD has a nice feature on Magna Carta, but in terms of the Master's sort of villainy,
it's one of his more stupid.
It's incredibly small time stuff. It's more worthy of the Time Meddler, isn't it? Not the Master. Yeah. But I don't mind it. It's it doesn't outstay its welcome. I think this story.
No. And Gerald Flood, he's having the time of his life.
Do our demons come to visit us?
Yes,
he's incredibly fruity, isn't he? Yeah, he's doing the real actor stuff.
He's doing. I am being the king.
Can this be Lilith?
Yeah. He just sounds a bit drunk as
well. But bless him. Yeah,
he's giving it a go.
Chameleon. Yeah, I can understand why you'd introduce him.
But have him as a man in a suit.
But, well, you could have the robot initially.
Or just have a different actor each week.
And then you actually use the whole thing of him changing shape.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so he's in a scene recorded for The Awakening, which never makes it to the final edit. But somebody said on... I think on Twitter, he would have been damn useful in the 5 Doctors.
Yeah?
Because if he can change into anything, you could use him to fly into the tomb of Rassilon or something. Turn him into some sort of motorised thing.
Or he could have walked past the Rastia Mora robot with no problem.
I've just thought, in Wacky Races, you had Professor Pat Pending in the converter car,
mm-hmm.
which could turn into a helicopter or a hovercraft or a boat or anything like that. Well, surely Chameleon can do that.
Yeah, maybe I've never really thought about
so
it.
He would have been really, really useful in all the stories that he's not in.
Yeah.
So, in fact, he does become far more useful than the sonic screwdriver if you think about it.
Well, the sonic screwdriver's not there, is it?
No, but it's the thing about if he can assume any shape or form. Now, what was it? There was a comic about a robot. It was one of those comic strips in something like Shiver or Shake or Buster or something like that, and it was. I can't remember the name of the character, but it was a dialing robot. And it was this big robot, and he had a load of buttons all around his chest. And you could press one button and he'd turn into a boat, and another button he'd turn into a tank, and another button he'd turn into a helicopter and things like that. And that is really what Chameleon unfortunately is. And maybe they've actually thought about it and thought, well, not only does he not work, he utterly blows the plots of the next few stories because he's too useful. So I mean, at least K9 had limitations. Chameleon really doesn't when you think about it. So yes, having thought about it now, I can understand why you wouldn't actually want him in your story, because it would all be over in 5 minutes. But I like the King's Demons. It's fun. It's a bit daft. You've got the link to like the Crusade, because King John and King Richard and all of that.
But at this point, Richard's dead, isn't he?
Well, Richard's dead, yes, but I mean,
otherwise John wouldn't be king.
No, but 1215. How long does John last after 1215? Not long.
Next year, yes, he dies from too many lampreys.
Oh yes,
doesn't he?
Yeah. That's a whole other story. Yeah. Okay, finally. The Warriors of the Deep.
This is so 1984. It's I mean,
why do you say that?
Pitt's hair, the makeup.
Yeah.
Everybody's makeup and
lot
hair.
Of eyeshadow.
A lot of eyeshadow, and a lot of really puffed up hair.
Okay.
And
nuclear war.
Nuclear war, yes.
Yeah, it's not just in the fashion; it's in what the whole story is about.
Yes.
Now, we have to sort of partially blame Margaret Thatcher, don't we? Because it's something to do with like the production was brought forward or something because of the election.
Yes.
And poor old Matt Irving is absolutely lumbered with, trying to do all the effects.
Yeah, really quickly.
In about a week.
Yeah.
Which is why the Merker looks like it does. It's a solid story. Silurians and Sea Devils is a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
So long as you can pull it off. But the Merker is really the straw that breaks the camel's back, isn't it? I really like season 21. I think Peter gets really on top of his game at this point. Whether it's because he knows he's leaving, I don't know.
Possibly.
He's possibly a bit less worried about because I know he wasn't that happy with some aspects of season 20 compared to season 19, and to some extent I sort of agree that season 20 is okay, but I don't think it's got the highs of season 19 or indeed the highs of season 21. So yeah, it's in some ways trying to remake Earthshock, isn't it? To have a sort of action adventure-y, I hate to use the phrase, but base under siege thing, isn't it?
Well, it definitely is,
If you'd only gone for the Silurians or the Sea Devils, maybe you could have, spent some money in other areas. The sets are really good, it has to be said. It looks good.
All stuff in the sort of episode 1 in the tank is good.
But again, you really need to have turned the lights down by about sort of halfway through the story. You need to have power failures.
Emergency red lighting.
Yes. And suddenly it would look a whole lot better.
Like they do in films with submarines.
Yeah.
It goes to red.
You need
and
it to
gives
be a lot,
all a different air.
And I think John Nathan Turner even says this in his sort of memoirs on the CD. If only we'd turn the lights down a bit. But unfortunately, the whole nature of the recording meant that it's not being recorded in order now.
No,
so you have to have all the scenes joining up, unfortunately, with all the lighting. That's a problem.
Yeah, and the problem with having the Silurians and Sea Devils is that by necessity, one of them has to be more dominant.
Okay. So who is, do you think?
And it's the Silurians.
All
the
right.
Sea Devils are really there just to be soldiers and get shot at and die. They don't really get any character development.
They've got the samurai gear on, the Sea Devils. Do you think
that's a
it
really
doesn't
good
help
idea.
in their movement? Do you
No.
think the sort of string vest stuff would have been?
Yeah, why?
Would have been better.
Yeah, why do they need the samurai stuff? Just stick a string vest on them. That's that's what they've got access to. Where did they get all this stuff from? Who made it for them? Have they got an armourer or a blacksmith?
But yeah, Ingrid Pitt is doing her best karate, isn't she?
Ingrid Pitt's fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and she would admit that scene is not. She would have admitted. She did admit.
What's that
it's
thing?
Not with,
I think we said it before about when she had that dinner at Panopticon.
And we got tomato
and got tomato ketchup all on her chin. But she said she watched some of the clips back, and I won't do the impression.
No, don't do the impression.
But she said something like, "Look at me trying to be evil. What a silly cow," or something. So which really sort of endeared her to me, just for having that sort of self-awareness and being silly.
It wasn't her best.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there is that thing about John Pertwee sending her a packet of Mounds, wasn't it, on the set, which were sort of the American equivalent of the Bounty Bar. Because, of course, John had worked with her
in House That Dripped Blood.
House That Dripped Blood, yes. So, yeah, it's compromised by the things going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
And it's almost like you try to imagine in your head a better version of the story, isn't it? Because I know Pennant Roberts is the only sort of director from the old days that John Nathan Turner brings back. And I think Pennant said it felt like, these stories aren't great, so let's get somebody sort of old to, get them on screen in some sort of respectable order. Because unfortunately, he does seem to get lumbered with some not great productions, doesn't it? Because his work on things like Survivors or Blake Seven,
really good. Tenko.
Tenko, indeed. Unfortunately, I think if you only watch Doctor Who, you tend to judge Pennant Roberts by the standards of his 80s Doctor Who especially, and that's not fair.
No. Watch some Tenko. He is a very good director.
Yeah. That's the thing. And we've always said this, Doctor Who is not the only TV programme that was made in the 70s and 80s. No. There's a whole lot of other stuff that the same people worked on.
Yeah, and most of it's really good.
Yeah. So
we should also mention the lovely Tara Ward.
Oh, Tara! Yes, hello, Tara.
Yes.
I don't know whether she'll be watching this, but...
Well, she might if you tag her. So.
Okay, I'll tell her, shall I?
Yes. But yes, and her character comes off quite well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's got the scene where they're in the sort of bunks, isn't it?
Yes,
and
those really uncomfortable looking beds. Yeah.
With the bubble wrap sort of pillows and blankets, isn't it?
Things, yes.
And as an attempt to show the future. People laugh at the bubble wrap in the Ark in Space, but the idea you've got bubble wrap blankets,
and every time you have it, you can hear pop, 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 pop.
Yeah. That is a real good example of sort of people working on the show trying to think of the future and think, oh, that'll do.
Yeah.
Bubble wrap, that's futuristic, isn't it?
And it should also say that as bad as the Mercury is, you've got the two guys from Rent a Ghost doing it,
Bless them, because...
Yeah. It was wet. Everything it touched got covered in paint.
Including Janet Fielding,
because it was wet.
That's the thing. They are, to be honest, they're probably the best choice of people to do it.
Because they can do...
Because they've been doing Dobbin,
on
Rent a Ghost. And yes, it's bigger than,
Dobbin.
Because what was it? One of them said that the one in the back had a dirty, great big television.
Yeah, to see what was going on.
what was happening in the front.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even attempt to get in that costume if you had that amount of weight in it.
And when it was wet as well.
It's utterly ridiculous.
Yes.
So good on them for making it move, let alone...
I mean, yeah, slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, it lumbers, but, so what? It's electric, it's dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Warriors of the Deep is not necessarily the best opening to the season, but not all the problems with it are due to anybody working on it. No. There are extenuating circumstances, I think. So, any excuse to blame Margaret Thatcher, really. Yes. it really is. And I know, sort of, unfortunately, it's like sort of Matt Irving does sometimes get the short straw, doesn't he?
Because they know he can sort of do it, I guess.
Because Creature from the Pit has got the same problems, hasn't it? In that,
how the hell
do you do the
that?
monster?
Yes.
Yeah, and for Doctor Who's budget, sometimes it almost needs somebody to say, no, we can't actually do that. But yeah, I understand. You've got a script, and you think, well, we'll have a go, and that's the best we can do. And if it doesn't work, there's another script coming along next week.
But, yeah, I mean, it's got a really good cast again. Tom Adams and Ian McKellen.
Oh, everybody's taking it seriously.
Though there is that thing. Is it Nigel Gregory?
What's that?
He gets that line I said to you about, and it's a really unwieldy line. About, all the things that first this and then this and now these people turning up and you're like, oh, that's a bad line.
Yeah.
And there's not many ways you can deliver that with any conviction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. But I wasn't appalled by Warriors of the Deep when I watched it. I remember watching it and I remember thinking, oh, this is all right. I could see the Silurians coming untucked at the back, but even then I wasn't that much of a serious fan, that it worried me. I wasn't ashamed of it. It's weird. It sounds weird. And a few months later, I joined the DWAS.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's not like Warriors of the Deep put me off. In this season, 21 especially, and we'll talk about it in the next video, really got me into fandom. So I cannot knock season 21 because we wouldn't be sitting here today.
No.
So there we go.
Well, thank you, Warriors of the Deep.
So thank you, even Warriors of the Deep and everybody involved, because we'll return to this later. But okay, well we'll say ta-ra now, and you have that, and I'll reach for me thing, and we'll see you again.
All right then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.